everyone. I'm hanging out with my Trumpy bear here, and President Trump is live right now, and he is speaking about the World Cup. FIFA, 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 bum. I don't know what it is. I don't know anything about soccer. But anyway, seems pretty important. So President Trump is on live right now from the White House, and I am going to start the video like I always do from the very beginning, just giving you all a chance to catch up because he's live right now at the moment, but will be a little bit later. All right, I'm going to turn the camera around so that we can hear what President Trump has to say about the World Cup.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon. I'm delighted to welcome FIFA President Gianni Infantino, one of the greatest men of sport. He's an amazing man. He's done an incredible job with FIFA. Congratulations on the job. I hear you're setting records for the World Cup. We'll talk about it, but setting records in ticket sales for the World Cup. And we love having you back at the White House, Johnny, and everybody. That's what you guys have done fantastic. I also want to thank Vice President J.D. Vance. J.D., wherever you may be, where's J.D.? Is there any something? He's coming right over. Marco Rubio was doing a fantastic job, and Secretary Christine Noble was doing a fantastic job, as well as Representative Darren LaHood.
His voice sounds rough.
This past summer, the United States hosted the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup, and it was great. I actually went to a match, and it was amazing. It was a big success too. It was sort of like a preview of what's to come. And now we're getting ready for an even bigger event next year as we host the official 2026 FIFA World Cup. That's the big one. The World Cup tournament. This will be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, even for our country, because frankly, this goes to countries, everybody wants it. I guess it's going all over the world. Do you know who's getting it the next time around? Who's getting it? Has that been selected?
The next one will be Morocco, Spain, and Portugal.
That's good.
With 3 matches at the beginning in South America, Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, and the one after will be Saudi Arabia.
Wow, that's great. Yeah. Wow, that's great. Well, we have the king coming, Crown Prince is coming tomorrow. This will be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to showcase the greatness of American world-class athletic competition as we celebrate our nation's 250th year. The World Cup will also be an incredibly significant economic opportunity for countless American workers and businesses. It's expected to drive more than $30 billion, Johnny. I don't know about that. That sounds like a lot of money.
No, it's true.
Are you sure?
100%.
How much does the country get out of that? 20%.
If
Do you get like a percentage of the gross or anything?
It's for negotiation.
That's right. And it's going to create nearly 200,000 jobs for America. Since the creation of the White House FIFA Task Force earlier this year, Secretary Rubio's team at the State Department has worked tirelessly with the Department of Homeland Security to ensure that soccer fans from all around the world are properly vetted and able to come to the United States next summer easily. Before I took office, it would often take a year to get a travel visa, but because of the administration's hard work, now in more than 80% of the world, think of that, the wait time for a visa is 60 days or less. For those who intend to join us for the World Cup, I strongly encourage you to apply right away. And I want to thank FIFA Task Force and Secretary Rubio for the great job. Marco's doing a fantastic job in many ways, too. So I want to just thank you all for a great job. Marco, you're doing a great job. Beyond even this, we're also creating what we're calling the FIFA prioritized appointment scheduling system. That's a hard one for most people to remember, but it's there nevertheless. And this will allow World Cup ticket holders with long wait times to opt with FIFA for a prioritized interview. And I've directed my administration to do everything within the power to make the 2026 World Cup an unprecedented success. I think it's going to be the greatest, and we are setting records on ticket sales. Nobody's ever really, and FIFA's never, you know, you look at the numbers, nobody's ever seen anything like the kind of numbers we're doing. And the early ticket sales are through the roof, and much of it is even sold out. So congratulations, Johnny. And I'd like to ask Johnny to say a few words. He's really done an incredible job. He's got unbelievable spirit and personality and talent and intelligence, I always like to say, because it's all a part of it. But the job you've done is based on what's happening, unprecedented. Thank you, Johnny.
Thank you. Thank you, President. Thank you very much. I would like to start really by thanking you, Mr. President, Secretary Rubio, Secretary Norm, Andrew, your entire team for approving and making this very important announcement today. The FIFA Pass is being announced, that prioritized appointment scheduling system. That's the way people will remember it. So if you have a ticket for the World Cup, you can have a prioritized appointment to get your visa, because we said it the very first time we met, Mr. President, America welcomes the world. America will welcome the world here. Next year we will have of America, Mr. President. You have to be of America, Mr. President. You have to be the #1 country as well in the #1 sport in the world. So we have to work for that, and we will do that, and the World Cup will be very, very significant. So big thank you to you, to the White House Task Force, to everyone involved, and we are celebrating next year not just the 250 years, but also the greatest and most inclusive World Cup ever. We'll have 6 billion people watching. We have the draw coming up on the 5th of December here at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. 1 billion people watching the draw to find out who plays whom and where. We have 32 teams already qualified. Before or by tomorrow night, we'll have 42 out of 48 qualified. So a quarter of the world will be here, and we're looking very much forward. So thanks for the support, thanks for the great work, and always happy to be here at home. Like I said.
There's a beautiful trophy right there.
Yeah.
And a big part of it too. Marco, would you say a few words?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. First of all, for getting the games, because this happened in your first term when the Cup came here, and it's a major undertaking. So we've deployed over 400 additional consular officers around the world to deal with that, in some cases doubling the size of the consular presence in our embassies in certain countries. And the good news now is that about 80% of the world, you can get an appointment within 60 days. It used to take, half a year or longer, and now sometimes it took, now you can get in less than 2 months, where in places it took over a year. In places, for example, like Brazil and Argentina, took over a year to get an appointment. Now you can get in less than 2 months. So our advice to everybody is, if you have a ticket for any of the games, you need to apply if you haven't done so as soon as possible. Don't wait till the last minute. Your ticket is not a visa. It doesn't guarantee admission to the U.S. It guarantees you an expedited appointment. You're still going to go through the same vetting. We're going to do the same vetting as anybody else would get. The only difference here is we're moving them up in the queue. We're moving them up faster. But my advice to everyone that's watching around the world is, if you intend to come to the games, you have to have a ticket. You need to apply. Apply as soon as possible. You're going to get your interview within 6 to 8 weeks, and move forward from there. Don't wait till the last minute to do it. Thank you.
Mr. Congressman, would you like to say?
Well, first of all, Mr. President, none of this would have happened without your leadership securing this during your first term. I tell my colleagues, look at the history of the world. We expand from 32 to 48 teams for the first time ever. We're doing it with Mexico and Canada, but obviously the 11 host cities will be here in the United States, and it's going to have a $30 billion impact economically in this country. And so it has been a team effort by everybody, but I also want to thank President Infantino and obviously you, Mr. President, and your entire team, Andrew and Nick and everybody. It is going to be an unbelievable sporting event next summer.
It'll be great. It'll be great. Andrew, would you like to say something?
Sure. I think
we'll have somebody much more important.
it's much more important. And honestly, without her work, without Secretary of State Rubio's work in the State Department, this would not happen. Without your leadership and your vision, this would not have happened. I think 2 key points. One, Secretary of State already highlighted. This is a welcoming message to the world. without going around the safety and security procedures. It's so key to make sure that this World Cup is safe and secure, and the White House task force is working every day to make sure that's the case. And also, as Congressman LaHood said, the economic benefits for American businesses, both small and large, from a $30 billion event like this. So really, thanks to all the White House task force members, from Secretary Rubio to Secretary Noem, to notice of funding opportunities that went out to the cities and states last month were really key from the safety and security perspective, to Deputy Chief of Staff Luna, who is integral in this whole process, to the White House task force members that are standing in the back of the room today and that couldn't be here. Without your hard work, this would not have happened, and I really can't thank you enough for really the best team I've ever been a part of. And also to FIFA, to the President Gianni Infantino, my good friend Carlos Cordiero, your desire to make this World Cup the best yet, it's contagious. Every single day I come in and think, what can we do to make this even better? And Mr. President, your vision more than anything. I think it takes a unique visionary to be able to go and see a sporting event and realize that this can be one of the greatest cultural events in world history. And I think there are very few people, aside from the 45th and 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, that can do that undertaking. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Kristen?
Mr. President, thank you for Andrew. Thank you for making him the head of our FIFA task force. He's fantastic. And Nick has been a rock star in facilitating all of our meetings, getting everybody together and making sure that we're prepared to host this event. And it's going to be the world's largest sporting event ever hosted, and it's happening under your leadership. So every department has been working, but the Department of Homeland Security is working on making sure people can travel here safely. They know that they're welcome to the United States, that each of these events will be cooperative events with our cities to make sure that security needs are met. We put out over $600 million worth of grants to the 11 host cities that they'll have the advantage to partner on technologies and screening technologies, drone technology, counter UAS as well will be implemented. So we'll be prepared to host it safely, but also with Marco's leadership at the State Department, making sure that people that come in on these tourist visas are coming in thoroughly vetted, just like anyone who would travel here, and they would come and enjoy our country, and then they would go home in a timely manner. So we're excited about that, and we're excited to partner with you, Mr. President, on creating memories for people around the world that will make them not just fall in love with the United States, but also fall in love with the sport of soccer.
Thank you. How many games are there total?
Total 104 games, meaning 104 Super Bowls in 1 month. This is the magnitude of the event.
When you think,
It is, it's incredible.
it's going to be the biggest sporting event we've ever had. It's like having 100 more, or even if you got it in there, 50, 60 Super Bowls. That's okay too. Any questions?
Mr. President, if you could just take us through this FIFA Pass idea that you guys are talking about here. How exactly is it going to work for ticket holders to this big event that the United States is hosting?
I'll let my guys do that because they can do it much better, and either one of each of Nick would do it.
Sure. Well, Mr. President, without your leadership, this would not happen. And we came in 10 months. We have a system that's going to welcome the world. The greatest host in the history of the world is going to host the world here. Basically, this system allows folks with a FIFA ticket purchased through FIFA to go through the FIFA portal that is then going to get prioritized with the State Department, so that those appointments are going to be had before existing appointments, so that people, when they buy tickets, they have confidence that they're going to be able to come to the games and spend their money and travel this country and do all the things that they want to do and enjoy the game. So it's an incredible vision that the president executed here. Within 10 months, we started with really not that much. And so this whole team here, with the president's guidance, has made this possible to be the greatest games in the history of the world.
Okay, do you have that?
Yes,
No, that's not too
Mr.
complicated.
President.
Daniel, please. Daniel?
Mr. President, yep, you're talking about the economic impact. It's billions and billions of dollars. This builds on the framework and the groundwork that you built already up for a major year in 2026. Deregulation, energy independence, tax cuts, historic amounts of private sector investments. What do you envision for the 2026 economy when this event comes to town next year, too, on top of everything else?
Yeah, it's just a huge economic boon to this. We had a little shutdown that was caused by the Democrats, and this will make up for it many times over, so that's good. But I think it's the importance of the event all over the world. The world is watching, and it really is. It's like having, many Super Bowls, actually. Each game is almost a Super Bowl. Some of them are I guess you could say bigger than Super Bowls. I guess when you get to the finals, it's of that level or more. Worldwide, I think it's gotta be more. So that's great. You know, when Johnny and I made the deal, I never thought I was gonna be president because I was supposed to be, retired by that time. And, I got a little lucky, so, I'm very honored to have it. And we have the Olympics coming too. That'll be great. And the 250 is gonna be right out on the lawn. They're gonna have a UFC event with Dana White and his people. He's gonna have the greatest card they've ever assembled. I was talking to Dana White the other day, and they're gonna have the greatest card they've ever assembled, Johnny. So you'll be sitting up there with me there. We'll be watching it, so right opposite the front door of the White House. That's gonna be on June 14th. So it's really gonna be an amazing period of time, but this is something very, very special. World Cup, all my life I've heard about it. Yep.
I have a question about Venezuela, but can I just first ask, the health of the president's always news, your voice sounds a little rough, are you feeling all right?
I feel great. I was shouting at people because they were stupid about something having to do with trade in a country, and I straightened it out. But I blew my stack at these people.
Well, it sounds like there's a follow-up there, but can I ask you about Venezuela? You suggested.
Sounds as the what?
It sounds like there's a follow-up there, but can I ask you about
I
Venezuela?
heard you said there was a polyp. And I said, I don't want to hear that.
There's a whole other issue.
Okay.
You suggested you made a decision about what you want to do next up Venezuela. I understand you don't want to tip your hand. Is there anything you're ready to rule out at this point? Are you ruling out U.S. troops on the
No,
ground?
I don't rule out that. I don't rule out anything. It was meant to be tricky. It's just that, look, he's done tremendous damage to our country, primarily because of drugs, but really because we have that problem with other countries too. But more than any other country, the release of prisoners into our country has been a disaster. He's emptied his jails. Others have done that also. He has not been good to the United States. So we'll see what happens. At a certain period of time, I'll be talking to him.
Mr. President, can I just follow up? You mentioned your voice and you were shouting about trade. Which country in particular upset you? Was it India?
No, a country wanted to try and renegotiate the terms of their trade deal. And I wasn't happy about
Well,
it.
which country was it? People want to know.
Why would I say that to you? I can't believe it.
Mr. President, on the World Cup, if you would, Seattle and the World Cup. The new mayor elect of Seattle is a Democratic socialist. Seattle has six.
Or beyond, or extra.
Right, Seattle has six.
That's more than socialist.
Right, Seattle has 6 World Cup games. How close are you going to be watching that city with the crime?
Well, if we think, and I'll have to speak to Johnny about this, but if we think that the mayor of LA is incompetent, everybody knows that. You know, that I was there, I guess, 2 years ago, and we got all the federal permits taken care of, far more complex than the state permits and the city permits. And Lee Zeldin, who's a superstar, got everything taken care of. The toughest part, having to do with the forest, that should have never happened if they let the water come in. It wouldn't have happened, right? Do you know that people aren't building their houses yet? I mean, can you imagine that? And if we didn't go in early on, Chris, I think we can say it. Well, the head of their police department said it. They were unable to handle. You would have had, not only did you have the fires, but you would have had total insurrection in Los Angeles. And if we didn't go in, and the head of, the gentleman, he said it, and he said it strongly, said we could not have done it without the federal government. We did a great job. If we think there's going to be the sign of any trouble, I would ask Johnny to move that to a different city. We have a lot of cities that would love to have it, number one, and we'll do it very safely. So if we think there's a problem in Seattle where you have a very, very liberal/communist mayor, I would say, certainly beyond just liberal. I watched her over the weekend. Wow, that's another beauty we got there. But if we think there's going to be a problem, Johnny, can I say we will move? I don't think you're going to have this problem, but we're going to move the event to someplace where it's going to be appreciated and safe.
Yeah, well, I think safety and security is the #1 priority for a successful World Cup. We can see today that people have trust in the United States when we see at the ticket sales, we sold, record-breaking figures of tickets, almost 2 million already sold out of 2 million that we've been selling. This is because people, they know that they will be coming here and they will experience a safe and secure World Cup. This is the responsibility, of course, of the government, of Secretary Norm, of everyone, and obviously we will. We will discuss. We are working together. We have a task force for this, and we must ensure that all fans coming from abroad or being here, they can experience a celebration of coming together of the sport, and this goes only with 100% safety.
We are communicating with all these mayors about what their responsibilities are. They know the safety and security of these events is their number one responsibility, and we'll be there. The president's always there to keep Americans safe. But he also makes sure the people that know their responsibilities and that they're prepared to host these events and do so in a safe manner.
Is there a timeline for that?
Yeah, go ahead.
There was some news this morning from an Axios report that Senator Ted Cruz was laying the groundwork for a potential 2020 presidential run. Could I get your reaction to, would you see yourself supporting?
Well, he's a friend of mine. I mean, I haven't spoken to him about that. It's a little early. It's 3.25 years. That's a long time. But he's a very good guy. He's a very good friend of mine. You remember we had quite a campaign against Ted, and it worked out quite nicely. Let's see, where are we? But I'm not that surprised to you.
On the tariff exemptions, you had some recently on a variety of different goods. I'm wondering, are you ruling out going forward no more exemptions on products? You're mentioning a disagreement there earlier. So I'm
We've
wondering.
taken in hundreds of billions of dollars in tariff money. We're going to be issuing dividends later on, somewhere prior to, well, probably in the middle of next year, a little bit later than that, of thousands of dollars for individuals of moderate income, middle income. We're going to pay down debt. You know, we have a lot of money from tariffs. If we didn't have tariffs, this nation would be in serious trouble. And we've taken in tremendous amounts of money. And you know what's more important than that? We've protected our businesses from being raided like we did with the chip business. Now we're bringing them all back. But we had 100% of the chip industry, and then they left. They went mostly to Taiwan and South Korea, but mostly Taiwan. And they have almost 100%. And we're going to have, within a short period of time, a big percentage of the chip business are coming back because of tariffs, because they don't want to pay the tariffs, because the tariffs will be very steep if they don't come back, and they've committed to come back. As you probably heard, is now up to $700 billion. We have NVIDIA at $600 billion. We have tremendous amounts of money pouring in. Our country has become amazing again, and really, really rich again. I will say this, we have a decision we're waiting for. It's a very big decision. The numbers that we've taken in, if you talk about investments, is trillions, not with a B, not with an M, millions, but trillions of dollars. I can't imagine having to give that money back on something that we're allowed to do. And the ones that are fighting us are countries, largely, they're back in countries that have been ripping us off for years, using tariffs to rip us off. And now we're able to defend ourselves. It really is a matter of national security, because economic security is national security. So I think you're going to see another thing happening. I think you'll see food prices. They've come down very substantially since Mike. But I think you're going to see food prices coming down very substantially.
Saudi Arabia, tomorrow you're hosting
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia. Are you planning to sell F-35s to Saudi Arabia?
Yeah.
I mean, and also, are you looking at doing a similar security agreement like you did with the
Yeah, no, I am planning on it. They want to buy. They've been a great ally. They've got to like us very much. Look at the Iran situation, what we did in terms of obliterating, we obliterated their nuclear capability. Yeah, I will say that we will be doing that. We'll be selling F-35s.
Can I clarify something you posted on Truth Social last night? You urged House Republicans to vote in favor of this Epstein release bill they're going to vote on tomorrow. I just want to be super clear on your position. Do you want to see that pass the Senate? Would you sign that bill if it gets to your desk?
I do want to say, here's what I want. We have nothing to do with Epstein. The Democrats do. all of his friends were Democrats. You look at this Reed Hoffman, you look at Larry Summers, Bill Clinton, they went to his island all the time, and many others, they're all Democrats. All I want is I want for people to recognize the great job that I've done on pricing, on affordability, because we brought prices way down, but they're going way lower, on energy, on ending 8 wars and another one coming pretty soon, I believe. We've done a great job. And I hate to see that deflect from the great job we've done. So I'm all for it. You know, we've already given 50,000 pages. You do know that. Unfortunately, like with the Kennedy situation, with the Martin Luther King situation, not to put Jeffrey Epstein in the same category, but no matter what we give, it's never enough. You know, with Kennedy, we gave everything and it wasn't enough. With Martin Luther King, we gave everything and it's never enough. We've already given, I believe the number is 50,000 pages, 50,000 pages. And it's just a Russia hoax as it pertains to the Republicans. Now, I believe that many of the people some of the people that we mentioned are being looked at very seriously for their relationship to Jeffrey Epstein, but they were with him all the time. I wasn't at all. And we'll see what happens. What I just don't want Epstein to do is detract from the great success of the Republican Party, including the fact that the Democrats are totally blamed for the shutdown. You know, they cost our country hundreds of billions of dollars with that, at a lot of inconvenience. So I'm for I don't, they can do whatever they want. We'll give them everything. Sure I would. Let the Senate look at it, let anybody look at it. But don't talk about it too much because honestly, I don't want to take it away from us. It's really a Democrat problem. The Democrats were Epstein's friends, all of them. And it's a hoax. The whole thing is a hoax. And I don't want to take it away from really the greatness of what the Republican Party has accomplished over the last period of time. Yeah,
Shutdown is now over. Administration officials had said when the shutdown ends, they'll reevaluate the farmer relief. Now we have the deal with China. So is the administration still looking to dish out farmer relief now that the government is back
Yeah,
open?
I'm always going to help our farmers.
So are you still looking to?
I would do that, yeah. If they need relief, we'll be there for them. We're going to always be for our farmers.
So what are you waiting
Yeah,
for?
please, in the back.
Mr. President, just speaking of the economic impacts of FIFA and possibly moving to another city, some games if you feel there's crime, is there like a timeline that you would do that? Because these cities, there's sponsorships, there's economic impacts for these communities.
Sure.
Is there?
One, you know, the governors are going to have to behave, the mayors are going to have to behave. You know, in the case of California, you have a problem. You have high crime, then you have a place that just suffered great fires and everything else, and they didn't do a very good job. And if we didn't go in from the crime standpoint, you would have had a disaster. It was not going to be handled properly. It wasn't able to be. The head of the police said as I said, without the federal government, they could not have done it. So here's the story. I love Los Angeles. If they want help during this, I would love to send in National Guard or whoever's necessary to help them. I want it to be great. I'd love it to be in Los Angeles. I love the place. It's a natural for Los Angeles. If we think there's going to be crime, if we are obstructed by the governor, and maybe he won't obstruct, maybe it'll be great. But I'd love for him to call and say, you know, we'd like to have some extra, because if there's even a hint of a problem, we want to get in there before the problem occurs. We want to make it totally safe for Johnny and FIFA and all of the great people that are going to be there. And I think that's going to happen. I would be honored to help California if they're going to have a problem. And if they think they're going to have a problem, they should say so. We can be in there in 24 hours notice and do a great job.
But the president's going to vote a year, by the end of the year, by the end of the first quarter.
Well, I think this, if they would tell us now, they're not going to have a problem. Because if we go in, they don't have a problem. Look at DC. There's no crime in DC anymore. And DC was a mess. If they want us to go in, if we go in, there will be no problem. There will be no crime.
What's the message then to like local businesses who are considering sponsoring?
Tell your governor to ask for federal help. we'd love to help them.
If you're also potentially launching strikes in Mexico or putting American troops or American personnel into Mexico to deal with the
We don't
cartels?
want strikes in Mexico to stop drugs. It's okay with me. Whatever we have to do to stop drugs. Mexico is, look, I looked at Mexico City over the weekend. There's some big problems over there. If we had to, would we do there what we've done to the waterways? You know, there's almost no drugs coming into our waterways anymore. Isn't it down like 85%?
It is, sir.
I don't know who the 15% would be. It wouldn't be you.
No, that's for sure.
No, I think it's been,
Tons and tons. of
you would say
drugs.
that's a big signal.
Absolutely.
We have almost no drugs coming into our country by the sea, by, you know, the waterways. And you know why, okay? It's pretty obvious. Would I do that on the land cars? I would, look, every boat we knock out, we save 25,000 American lives. Not to mention the destruction of families. These families are decimated forever. The mother, the father, the children, they never recover really from it. You know, when you lose somebody like the way they, you lose them, but the way they die is horrible. So when we knock out a boat and we save 25,000 lives, it's great. Now, do I feel the same way about the corridors that they use? We know every one of them. We have every one of those corridors under major surveillance. We have nobody coming in through our southern border. But we know exactly how they get their things here, how they get the drugs here, fentanyl, cocaine, Colombia. Would I knock out those factories? I would be proud to do it personally. I didn't say I'm doing it, but I would be proud to do it because we're going to save millions of lives by doing it.
Would you only do it with Mexico's permission though?
I wouldn't answer that question. I've been speaking to Mexico. They know how I stand. We're losing hundreds of thousands of people to drugs. So now we've stopped the waterways, but we know every route. We know every route. We know the addresses of every drug lord. We know their address. We know their front door. We know everything about every one of them. They're killing our people. That's like a war. Would I do it? I'd be proud to. I'd probably go into Congress and say, hey, and you know what? The Democrats and the Republicans would both agree, unless they're crazy. They are a little crazy on the Democrat side. But we have lost hundreds of thousands of people a year, death. And that's not talking about family destruction, it's talking about that. And much of it comes through Mexico. So let me just put it this way. I am not happy with Mexico, okay? Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Okay. Well, sorry, Trumpy Bear. Trumpy Bear fell asleep. Anyway, yes, I think things are getting better under President Trump. I have noticed the gas prices going down. Here in Florida, we're seeing about $2.80 for a gallon of gas, and I remember when it was more than $4, and that was despicable. Under Biden, our country, sorry about that. Under Biden, our country was drowning in debt and high gas prices. And when gas prices are super high, guess what? Everything else costs more. All right, you guys. Well, I did want to mention something. If you would please look on some of my videos and my shorts. I am doing affiliate marketing now, and I only put things on that I actually use. And one of the things that is on my affiliate, you can look on shopping for YouTube shopping. So the piece of equipment, I'll show it to you. Hold on. Oops, it woke up. So, sorry, Trumpy Bear fell down again. Okay, so this is my gimbal. This is what I use when I go live and I go to the beach. Where's the thing? Okay, so I use this little thing. Connects with the phone. You just put it on your phone and, oops. hitting myself with it. Anyway, and this is how I am able to have such great looking video on my shows. And you see me dancing around when I go to cover bands, and my camera never moves. So, well, sometimes it goes crazy, but that's about to get better because I'm getting a brand new gimbal on Thursday. I'm going to unbox it in front of all of you, so it's very exciting. This is made by a company called DJI. It's the only brand that I've ever used as far as gimbals go. I know other companies might make them, but I love the DJI brand. It seems like they just make them better and better all the time. So I'm super excited to get the DJI 8, Osmo 8. This is the Osmo 6. And it telescopes and does all sorts of cool things, but the 8 has a flashlight on it. So I'm very excited about that too. Hey Don, thank you for telling us about the crime in DC. I'm glad that you did some research. And that's what I love about the Beach Report, is that you guys are so smart and savvy, and we all work together to try to figure out what's going on in the world. Um, MPRH, whatever your name is, I know you seem to think that President Trump doesn't care about the poor or the elderly or the indigent and all that stuff, but I beg to differ. He is trying to make this country better for all of us. And, you know, we also bear the brunt of the responsibility when it comes to people in need in the country. You know, it's not President Trump's job to take care of each and every person. It's actually my responsibility and your responsibility to make sure that our neighbors are okay. Because the love thyself, love thy neighbor. That is what it's all about. You know, government cannot handle things that real people can. And we do all have a responsibility to our communities to be involved with each other and to make sure that the guy next door has enough to eat, or, you know, if he's old and he's sick, and that he's okay. You know, take care of the people around you. So that's a good way to live, I think. All right, you guys. Well, I am going to say ciao for now. Like, I've been working on a new book all month and getting ready for my big birthday party bash in like 2 weeks. I'm going to be 60 years old, and I think a lot of great things are going to be happening in the near future. I'm looking forward to it. All right, you guys. Well, I will see you on the next Beach Report. Say bye, Trumpy Bear. Bye. Ciao for now.